of escape. Alcohol, they admit, is a pestilence too, but it is the devil we know. Alcohol has survived despite its evils because we have learned how to keep them in check. Attractive or plausible as these claims may be, they all miss the mark. Why have we banned recreational intoxicants? The answer is almost too plain to see. We have banned recreational intoxicants because they intoxicate. They disable our reason and self-command, if only for a while, with no better excuse than recreation. We have banned recreational intoxicants not because they harm us or give pleasure to groups we despise, but because of our cultural euphoria taboo, an old and deep and essentially moral aversion to pleasures that numb the mind. But doesn't alcohol, too, befuddle the brain? Surely it can, but only when taken in excess. Used in moderation, alcohol leaves reason intact and acuity almost undimmed. It delivers not the mindless rapture of escape, but the pleasure of minds meeting, engaged with each other, and now the more manageable cares of this world. Yet if alcohol came only as a 10-shot swallow, so one couldn't drink but get drunk, we would ban it, too. Alcohol may be the devil we know, but if it served only to intoxicate, slurring conversation without brightening it, alcohol, too, would face the prohibitionists' axe. Of course, at times we have banned drink. Maine and a trail of copycat states outlawed alcohol in the mid-19th century, and the 18th Amendment turned America dry decades later. Americans' exuberant resistance to national prohibition has made that era of moonshine and speakeasies irresistible material for modern historians and storytellers. But the prominence of these episodes in our historical memory obscures the reality of our relationship with alcohol. Save for a few years here or a dozen years there, alcohol has survived for millennia as a routine, widely condoned, if often reviled, fixture of Western culture. More precisely, alcohol has thrived as our lone recreational drug. Alcohol has other uses, as a sacramental wine, say, or a substrate for some medicines. Other drugs, too, have non-recreational uses that don't offend the law. Hence, opium and cocaine and their kin deaden physical pain, and peyote enables the spiritual rituals of native peoples. Prozac, Xanax, and their ilk aim to restore normal moods and coping mechanisms. Such non-recreational drug use, however, is not the topic of this book on our cultural euphoria taboo. Instead, my focus is on drugging to pleasure and disable the mind, and on the role old moral notions have played in banning such drug use. Drugs' dangers. But aren't the real sins of banned drugs that they kill by overdose and addict? Surely if a drug kills even when used with care, it should and will be banned. So too should thalidomide and other drugs that cripple users or disfigure their offspring. Yet the case against opium, cocaine, and cannabis in the early days of our drug war rarely focused on their ravages to the body. Instead, early lawmakers banned these drugs because they blight our brains, if only briefly, blotting out reason with base pleasure. Addiction, in this light, is not a standalone cause of anti-drug lawmaking, but an aggravator of moral ills. People confess addiction to caffeine, yet no one thinks this dependency shameful, and no lawmaker deems it cause for a ban. For caffeine sharpens rather than deadens the mind, and delivers no euphoric escape from reality. Even nicotine, though fiercely addictive, is lawful.